guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a Saint Laurent Loulou Puffer comparison video. I've been getting so many requests to do this one. I'm guessing a lot of you are trying to decide between the different sizes. I do have all three, so I have the toy, the small and the medium. So I'm going to be going over each one, kind of comparing them, showing you what can fit inside as well as some mod shots as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this and let's get started. Okay, so I have all three puffer bags right here. It's a little bit of a handful, but this is the larger size. For some reason they call this the medium, but I don't actually think that they do a large, or at least I've never seen it. So this is, to the best of my knowledge, the largest one that you can get. And then you have the so-called small one, which is more of like a medium size in my view. And this is the in-between size. And then finally you do have the toy Loulou Puffer, which is right here. And this is the smallest one in the whole line. This one is really designed to be worn as a crossbody or just over the shoulder versus the other two, which do have those doubled up straps. So you can choose to wear it as a shoulder bag or otherwise a crossbody. In terms of prices, so this one is obviously the most expensive, being the largest, but there isn't actually too much of a price difference between the small size and the medium. There's about £200 in it between the two. However, there is a very substantial price difference between the toy bag. So between the toy bag and the small one, there is a £500 price difference, and between the toy and the medium size, there is a £500 price difference. Obviously, these prices are in GBP, but I will pop it on screen the prices in USD as well. So between the sizes, at least between the toy and the other two, there is a fairly substantial price difference, but at the same time I do think that kind of reflects the size and also the versatility, which I will be getting to in a second. In terms of sales and kind of getting the best deal on these bags, I've only ever seen the toy Loulou on sale, and this was a kind of private sale which wasn't open to the kind of general public unless you had a specific account with that retailer. I think it was with Farfetch. So they don't really generally go on sale, and even then I think it was only discounted by like £200. So I wouldn't expect kind of vast discounts off this line. It is a very popular line. I think it's been around for maybe 2.5, maybe 3 years now, and I feel like it's just grown in popularity, which is why they have expanded the line so much. So very, very difficult to find on sale. I wouldn't expect these to go into any kind of general clearance. That's true of most Saint Laurent bags now though. The best deal that I found is still the Farfetch 10% off discount code. That one is live, I think, for like another 10 days, and that does work off the Saint Laurent line. That's generally the best you can expect off the Puffer line. So first up is the toy Loulou, and I think I've had this for about a year now, and I think it's such a gorgeous bag. And what's kind of consistent throughout the whole line is their beautiful leather, and if you hear anyone talk about the Puffer line, they will usually mention the leather because it is incredibly soft and supple, but at the same time very, very hard wearing as well. So generally speaking, I don't have to worry about like nicks and scratches, whereas with the classic Loulou line, because the leather is a little bit tighter, I guess, and more smooth, I do notice it kind of getting dings and scratches and that sort of thing. Whereas I guess because you have a little bit more of a distressed look, you have that puffy element, I just don't really notice scratches or like daily wear that much. So that is consistent throughout the entire line, which is why I love it so much. It really truly feels like a very, very luxurious bag. This size is adorable. It is definitely a mini bag. I will show you what can kind of fit inside after this segment, but certainly, you know, for a date night, or if you are quite minimal with your items, you will definitely be able to make this work. I like the fact that you do have the 2 card slots on the other side as well. It just makes it a little bit more functional and just means you have to carry a bit less. You know, you don't have to carry a wallet if you don't want to. If you want to save the space for something else, you can absolutely do so. You do have the pocket on the back as well, which I always find to be very helpful. In terms of versatility, I actually wish this was a little bit more versatile, because even though you see the little toggle there, so supposedly you can make this into a clutch, but I genuinely can't figure out how you do that because it just doesn't really fit through. So I feel like this could be a little bit of a design flaw, because I can't really think why they would make this into a toggle chain without being able to fully detach the strap. So That's a little bit of a weird one. If you own this bag and you've managed to make it work, please let me know, because this has stumped me ever since I got it. So I do wish it did have that option. So for me, this is very much a crossbody style. It's something I really only wear crossbody. It is quite a long chain as well, so that is something to keep in mind if you are more on the petite side. I can wear it on the shoulder, but I don't generally tend to do so. Obviously crossbody it is a bit shorter, so that is generally how I prefer to wear it, and that's kind of my go-to way of styling this bag. I would say I wish I'd gotten a different color, just because I do think that the puffer line in general can veer towards just looking a bit more appropriate for kind of autumn winter, and when you team that with like a deep berry color, I think it can look a little bit Christmassy. So I don't really reach for this bag except for in the colder months. I really didn't reach for it very much during the summer months, because again, the whole look, it just kind of gave me more festive vibes, whereas I do think that element is neutralized a little bit if you do get it in a nude or a more neutral colorway. So definitely wish I'd gone for a different color. I do really like it though, and I don't have too many red bags in my collection, so I still think it's absolutely beautiful. But if you are looking for something that is very, very versatile, that is something that I would keep in mind. It can look a little bit more festive with the combination of the leather, so you might want to consider going for something a little bit more neutral. Okay, so I have my toy Loulou here, and I filled it very, very full, as you can see. For me, I wouldn't fill it this full, but I wanted to show you what you could fit in if you absolutely had to. So the capacity, especially for a mini bag, is actually very, very decent. So as you can see, items are literally overspilling, but I have here my lipstick, I have my phone, I have my LV key pouch. I did manage to fit in my compact wallet, so I don't find it necessary to go down to a card holder. Like a small compact wallet is absolutely fine. I did actually also manage to fit in my umbrella, which is why it was so bulky. This is a small umbrella, and I would say that a water bottle, at least a regular size small one, won't fit. Perhaps a small one will, but these are the two kind of bulkiest items that I would usually try and fit. A water bottle is just a smidge too big, however I could fit in my umbrella. If you didn't want to carry anything this bulky, then obviously you have a lot more room. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So that's how much space you have without the kind of bulkier items. So, you know, extra items that I could fit in. I have, you know, a little reusable bag that I can definitely fit in there. A little hairbrush as well, some tissues, like there is still plenty of room, and I can close that as well. So again, definitely full, definitely not as full as when I had the umbrella in here, and it can still fit in a very decent amount of items. So that's everything that can comfortably fit inside the toy Loulou. Next up is the small puffer, and this is the middle size, so I very much think it should be called the medium, but officially it's called the small by Saint Laurent. I got mine in the nude with the gold hardware, and for me this is kind of the perfect combination. I really love pretty much everything about it, to be honest, but I do think that the nude colorway helps counteract more of those kind of wintry styling elements that I do think you get with the puffer line. As I mentioned with my red one, I think that's also true with my black one as well. I do think they have the tendency to look a little bit more appropriate for the autumn winter season. So by getting it in a lighter shade, I do think it just makes it look just that little bit more summery and just kind of seasonless, which again, when you're spending this much money on a bag, unless you specifically wanted an autumn winter style, it is something you're going to want to consider, you know, a color that you will be able to wear all year long. I do think with this style more than any other, it does more lend itself to the colder months. So for me, I love the fact that I got it in the lighter color, because it just means I can wear it all year round. I don't feel funny wearing this with kind of lighter layers, and I just love the entire combination. I also think that the size is very, very versatile as well. You know, it's big enough to fit in all of your essentials and then some, but it's not so big that I would feel silly wearing this out to dinner. I've worn this to dinner and I think it's great. And you can also wear this a myriad of different ways as well. So you can wear it doubled up, you can just wear it on the long strap on the shoulder, and you can also wear it crossbody. This is probably the largest size I'd go in terms of wearing a style crossbody. Any bigger and I think it would look a little bit awkward, but I do think it works with this size as well. So I love the fact that you can wear this bag 3 ways, and I think it looks good all 3 ways as well. I've just realised I have all my junk inside. I use this bag a lot now, and I do really like it. I have a face mask, hand sanitizer and sunglasses. So you will see in a second what can fit inside, but I do like the fact that it can fit plenty in, but unlike the next size up, which is the medium, it isn't a complete black hole. You know, the next size up, I lose my items all the time because it is such a vast bag, you know, it really is huge. Whereas this, it's big enough to fit in my items, but not so big that I feel like I'm rummaging around for like 20 minutes to find my keys, you know? So it's a really, really nice in between. On the one side, you don't have anything, so it's plain, unlike the Toy Loulou where you do get the 2 card slots. And then on the other side, you do have these zip pockets. So not too much to it on the inside, but for me, this is kind of the perfect size and just the most versatile out of all 3 because of the elements I just mentioned. You know, you can wear it a myriad of different ways, can go really easily from day to evening, and it also does help that I got it in a lighter color, so I do think it's a little bit more seasonless in style. Next up is my small Loulou, and I have also filled this fairly full, as you can see, but I wouldn't say this is too crazy overstuffed. Like, you could definitely carry this amount of items in here without damaging or compromising the bag. Very full indeed though, so I fit in here my reusable bag. I have a hand cream, which is approximately the same size as a hand sanitizer, tissues, my LV key holder, lipstick. I fit in my LV long wallet here as well, so no need to size down to a compact wallet. This one technically fits in the Toy Loulou, but it's a very snug fit. Like, you really have to maneuver, so I wouldn't personally carry this in the Toy Loulou, but it's absolutely fine in the small size. And I do also have my umbrella. I have a hairbrush and then my phone as well. You could also definitely swap out the umbrella for a water bottle, and that is also a very, very comfortable fit. As you can see, there's just still plenty of room. I can fit in all of the same items inside, and there's enough room to maneuver as well. Like, I don't feel like it's a tight fit. So you can fit in all of your essentials and then some, I would think. It's a fairly light bag, so even when I fill it completely full, I don't feel like it's overly cumbersome or just too heavy to carry around. I think it's just a really nice size and a nice weight as well. So that is everything that can fit inside, but you would have to swap out either the umbrella or the water bottle. And then finally, I do have the medium puffer, otherwise known as the largest one in the collection to the best of my knowledge. So this one I've had the longest. I've had this one for, I think, a little bit over 2 years, whereas the other ones I have had for, I think, around a year. So this one I'm going to focus in on the wear and tear, just because I think it's the most accurate representation versus the other 2, which I haven't had as long and I've not used quite as much. So this one, as you can see, it's a fairly large bag. I'm always kind of surprised when I see the mod shots on kind of, you know, online stores, because the bag always looks huge on them. I don't know if it's just because they hire very slender models, but I never feel like it looks like that big in real life, but it's definitely a large shoulder bag, no doubt about it. The benefits of it being large though is that it genuinely is like so huggable and just plush and just lovely. Like, that is the best way I can describe it. Because it is such a large bag, you are getting a lot of leather. You do have really big quilts as well. And when you fill this bag, you just want to hug it. Like, it's that soft and cuddly, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful style. The wear and tear on it is, you know, I'd say it's decent. I have used this bag a lot, so this was my kind of daily bag for a really long time, and I didn't baby it at all. Like, I really kind of threw my items in here. It's a great style for when you do want to carry a lot, but you don't want to have to stress about your bag, because I do feel like the general leather is very, very robust, and I just don't have to worry about scratches or dings or anything like that. But I would say that I am seeing wear on the corners now, and it's not something you can really see that easily because it is a black bag, so I guess it might depend on the color you choose as well, but there is definitely wear on the corners, and in certain lights you can kind of see some scratches on the base, which is a smoother leather. But honestly, I'm really happy with how this is worn, considering how much I've used it. You're always going to expect to see kind of wear on the corners if you do wear a bag a lot, and especially with, you know, a very large bag, you'd expect to see a little bit more wear just because there's more leather to wear as well. So for me, there's wear there, but I'm really happy with how it looks, you know, just kind of not focusing in on the corners. it still looks pretty much as good as the day I got it. You know, I really can't see any specific wear. I feel like it is a bit saggy on the back, but truth be told, I can't really tell you if that's just developed over time, because it's always just been that kind of style. And I think that's the beauty of these bags, and that they intentionally have this look. So even when you do wear and love them a lot, they still just kind of look how they're meant to, if that makes sense. So for me, this bag has done tremendously well with wear and tear. It really is just such a lovely, luxurious style, which you can just sling on your shoulder. It's going to be super, super comfortable, and you're not going to have to stress about it, which for me is absolutely the selling point of these bags. That said, it's definitely a larger style, and because of that, I do think it limits the versatility, and it's also a very, very expensive one as well. So certainly in the UK, I think this is now at about £1,900, so just shy of the £2,000 mark. And that's a huge investment for sure for something like this. I do think it's a beautifully made bag, so I don't even want to say that it's bad value for money. Obviously it's a luxury bag, so you know, you have to take all these prices with a pinch of salt, but I do think that you're getting a lot of quality for what you pay. But if you're really looking for something that's very, very versatile, I do think that the sheer size of it will limit how often and to what occasions you're going to want to wear this. You know, I wouldn't ever really take this out as an evening style. It just feels too large. That said, if you did want something as an everyday bag that, you know, you didn't want to go for a tote or anything like that, but you still wanted a lot of capacity for your daily items, then I do think this is a great choice. So it really depends what you're looking for. You know, if you want a bag with a particular purpose, you know, you want a daily shoulder bag, this is a great choice. It does fit in an absolute ton, as you'll see in a second. But at the same time, if you do want something really versatile that will go from day to night really easily, I do think that the other sizes are a little bit more versatile. And then finally, I have my medium-sized LouLou Puffer. This one, I don't even feel like I've stuffed particularly full. Like, it definitely has a lot of items in here, but I could have fit more in if I wanted to. But to be honest, I kind of ran out of items. That's how large this bag is. So, show you. It does have a lot inside, so it is actually quite heavy because I have filled it with so many items. So here I have a pouch which has my sunglasses inside. I have my reusable bag. I have my LV key pouch. I have an umbrella, hairbrush. I have my phone. I have a water bottle. I have my long LV wallet. I have a hand cream, I have tissues, a compact, and then also a lipstick as well. So as you can see, like, it can just fit an enormous amount of items. You really don't have to pare down other than for the weight. Obviously, carrying this amount of items, it does carry some weight. Otherwise, it is a very light bag, and as you can probably tell, the capacity is very, very generous indeed. So first up is the toy puffer, and this is how I wear it most often, just kind of crossbody. I do find that the chain is quite long and it's not really easily adjustable either. Like, there's no mechanism to shorten the chain or the strap. So for me, with the length, it just kind of suits a crossbody a little bit better, but it does sit really nicely across the body. And unlike the kind of regular classic LouLou line, I don't find it's overly bulky. Like the toy LouLou, that's like the regular one, it can sit a little bit bulky on the body. Whereas this one, because the width isn't actually that much, I do actually think it just kind of sits in a very nice way, and it's not like, it's puffy, but it's not like overly bulky. So I really like how it sits, just a really nice kind of comfortable one. And this is how it looks just on the shoulder. It does hang quite low, as you can see. I am 5'7", so definitely something to keep in mind if you are more on the petite side. It's definitely a longer strap. Next up is the small puffer, and this is a really nice in-between size. I do think it kind of looks quite good whichever way you wear it. So you can just wear it on the shoulder like so. One little niggle I do have is that the chain does have a tendency to get very, very twisted, as you can see. But apart from that, I do love it, and I think it's a really nice size, just kind of pop on the shoulder. I think it's big enough not to get lost when it does get a little bit colder and you're wearing more layers. But at the same time, I think it's dainty enough to also look really good with light layers as well. So a really nice in between. This is how it looks just with the single chain, and I think it works just fine. I don't feel like it's overly small or big. Like, I think you can just get away with it with this size. So I have worn it like this as well. It's very, very comfortable to wear like that, and again, just a really nice in-between one. And then this is how it looks crossbody. As I mentioned, this is probably as large as I'd go in terms of crossbody bag, but I do think it still works even with this size. Obviously, it's going to depend on how many layers you wear as well, but me, this is just a very versatile, very easy to wear size. And it's a nice kind of length as well, so I do think it kind of works just all the different ways. And as a kind of direct comparison, this is the toy and then this is the small. So as you can see, the small one does sit a little bit higher. The toy one sits a bit lower, and there is a fairly substantial size difference as well. But I do think that they both work crossbody. It just depends on your preference and how large you like your bags. And then finally, we do have the larger size, the medium here. Just sits very nicely on the shoulder. Nice drop. I do like a lower drop with my shoulder bags. That's why I love the Chanel Jumbo so much, and this has a very similar element. Definitely a large one, but I don't feel like it looks kind of out of proportion or anything. It just depends on how large you like your bags. And this is how it looks kind of on the shoulder. You can definitely wear it like this. Obviously it does look quite large, but this is definitely an option if you just like to wear your bags like this. It isn't kind of overly long, I don't think, but it definitely has more of that messenger bag style because of the size. And here it is crossbody, definitely more of a bulky one. I wouldn't really choose to wear it like this because I just think it looks a bit too bulky. I don't really like how it lays, but that's just down to personal preference. But for me, this is definitely more of a shoulder bag style. And this is the two larger sizes just on the shoulder. And as you can see, there is a fairly substantial size difference and just an overall different look. Like, this is obviously very suited to being a shoulder bag. I think it was really only designed to be a shoulder bag, whereas this one, it sits a bit higher, which does make it a little bit more versatile in terms of wearing crossbody and just on the shoulder as well. The drop is definitely lower, and yeah, again, everything about this is supposed to be like a shoulder bag, whereas this one is clearly designed to be just a little bit more versatile in terms of how you wear it. And then just to give you the comprehensive view of all the bags, I have added on the largest one as well. As you can see, it's definitely a lot larger than all three of them. I wouldn't choose to wear it like this, but hopefully that still gives you somewhat an idea of what they all look like crossbody. I know this looks a bit ridiculous, but yeah, all three styles in one. So in conclusion, as you can probably tell, I'm a huge fan of these bags, and I can absolutely see why they're so popular. You know, for me, they really do tick all the boxes in terms of being a bit more of a quirky style whilst also being incredibly luxurious. You know, you can really feel the quality when you hold one, to also being very, very functional as well. So I love them for that. You may be able to guess my kind of favorites just from me going through the whole review, but I would definitely say that my favorite now, and it hurts me to say this because I absolutely have a soft spot for my original black one, but in terms of the one that I reach for the most now, and the one that I'd also recommend to someone looking at this line, is the small size. You know, I just think it's the most versatile. I think it's a really nice in-between size. I think it will suit the most people as well in terms of just the overall size and proportions. And I just think it's great. You know, I always love a good day to evening style, and this works for both and can just transition so seamlessly. In terms of my next favorite, it's really difficult for me to judge, and if I was only going just on my own personal preference, I would probably go for the black one, but I'd also accept that there is a heavy dose of nostalgia in there because it was my first one, definitely the most worn and loved, and it's just so huggable. But if I was just recommending one to kind of any of you guys, then next up I would probably go for the toy one, especially taking into account the price difference. You know, this is considerably cheaper than the larger size, and it's just more versatile. You know, if you can pare down your essentials, great as a casual day style, great as an evening style, and as I mentioned, the hardware does elevate it a little bit too. So a really nice in-between, and probably the best value of all the different ones. I'm surprised there's such a price difference between this one and the small, the next size up. I definitely think this one is priced a lot better than the other ones. Obviously it's a lot cheaper, but for that reason I would say that this one would probably be my next recommendation. And then that leaves my medium one, but as I mentioned, it very much depends on what you're after. If your style is very casual, I'd say go for the toy. If you want a really versatile bag, I'd go for the small. But if you want a daily shoulder bag where you can throw your items in and it can carry a ton, then this is definitely a great one to consider. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, you found it useful if you were looking at one of these styles. As always, I will include links to all the bags I featured in the description section below. I will try and find exact colours, but where I can't, then I will mark that. If you have any questions for me, if there was anything that you wanted to know that I missed, then feel free to leave me a comment and I will try and get back to you. And if you do have any requests for specific bag reviews or comparison videos that you'd like to see me film, please let me know below. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful, please do give this a thumbs up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.